viewers, here, welcome to my YouTube channel today. Please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified anytime we upload new video. Today we are having the following limit problem. Limit as n is approaching infinity. Negative 3 raised by n minus 5 raised by n over negative 3 raised by n plus 1 plus 5 raised by n plus 1. So we're going to write the following limit as n is approaching infinity. Negative 3 raised by n minus 5 raised by n all over negative 3 raised by n times negative 3, then plus 5 raised by n times 5. I did this since I know that a raised by n plus 1 can be written as a times a raised by m, and as well a raised by m plus n is the same as a raised by m times a raised by n. Okay, now before I proceed, I need to divide the numerator and the denominator by 5 raised by n. Why am I dividing by 5 raised by n? I observe that 5 is greater than negative 3. Okay, and because of this, I'm going to divide both up and down by 5 raised by n. So our limit becomes limit n is approaching infinity, negative 3 raised by n minus 5 raised by n all over 5 raised by n over negative 3 times negative 3 raised by n times plus 5 times 5 raised by n all over 5 raised by n. Okay, from here I have limit n is approaching infinity. Now we're going to use the following indices law. A raised by m over b raised by m is the same as a all over b raised by m. Okay, now here we have negative 3 raised by n over 5 raised by n, negative 3 raised by n over 5 raised by n minus 5 raised by n over 5 raised by n all over negative 3 times negative 3 raised by n over 5 raised by n plus 5 times 5 raised by n over 5 raised by n. Okay, now from here we have this as limit n is approaching infinity. So using this law, so we have negative 3 over 5 raised by n minus, remember 5 raised by n by 5 raised by n is 1 all over minus 3 times negative 3 over 5 then raised by n plus 5 raised by n over 5 raised by n here is 1, so remaining 5. Okay, now recall that the absolute value of negative 3 over 5 is equal to 3 all over 5, and this is less than 1. Okay, so this is telling us that limit as n is approaching infinity of negative 3 over 5 raised by n is equal to 0. Okay, now from here, so we have, remember here, negative 3 over 5 raised by n as n is approaching infinity is 0 minus 1 all over negative 3 times negative 3 over 5 raised by n as n is approaching infinity is 0, then plus 5. Okay, so we're going to simplify this. So we have 0 minus 1 is negative 1 all over, remember, minus 3 times 0 is 0 plus 5, and this is giving us minus 1 all over 5, and this is the right answer to the problem. Thank you for viewing, and please remember to subscribe. Thank you.